Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, I Cheated on My Husband of 14 Years and Lost Him Forever. Now obviously this story is written by a woman, and this whole thing is about her, that basically she cheated on her husband. They've been married 14 years, and they're both 36 years old, which means that they got married when they were like 22 years old, which is crazy. And I've told you guys so many times, number one, don't get married, but if you do, for goodness sake, wait until you're like 30 years old so you can get a lot of life experience, work on your goals, your purpose, your ambitions, save a lot of money, have a lot of experience, and usually by then you'll probably realize maybe I don't want to do this. Also, guys, is that if you get married too young, a lot of people, both parties, don't get a whole lot of experience, and later in life, they're quick to cheat. And it's interesting because a lot of these stories I read always happen to these couples that are usually 30s, right? Not always, but usually in their 30s, couple kids, and they got married really young. No joke, every time. So another example of that going wrong. But basically the woman does this, and she's going to claim that, he was neglecting her for a couple months, that he was busy at work and all that. And it goes to show you, again, the guy's busting his ass at work, and look what happens. No joke. So I'm going to get into this, guys, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Starts off, this is long, but it's something I need to get off my chest. My husband, 36-year-old male, and I, 36-year-old female, have been together for 16 years and married for 14. We have two daughters who are 13 and 12. About 3 months ago, I cheated on him with my coworker once and immediately regretted it. That's another thing you hear all the time. They cheat and they immediately regret it, feel horrible about it, and they come crying home. It's crazy. You'd think they would put a little more thought into this before they do it and then realize this is not a good idea before doing it. To be honest, I still haven't figured out the real reason I cheated. You don't. Come on here. On the surface level, the reason would be that my husband was too caught up with work for a couple months and I felt neglected and unappreciated at times. I don't know if that isn't the real reason, so I'm trying to figure out what it is through individual counseling. Come on, you're going to know why you cheated, And how many times have you heard this, guys, that the guy, he's busting his ass at work, working nights, working weekends, holidays, doing what he has to do to get the job done, to obviously help take care of his wife and kids. And she feels neglected and unappreciated, and eventually she steps out. And a lot of times the guy has no idea that she's upset and feeling neglected, right? And you would think that because he's busting his butt to take care and provide for the family, there'd be a little understanding for him for doing this. But no, usually that's one of the reasons that is an excuse for cheating, okay? And this happens a lot. I've done plenty of stories like this. Women always, they don't communicate in a way that guys need to understand. A lot of them try to drop hints or speak in innuendos, and they get annoyed the guy can't figure it out, and then they go and do what they got to do, okay? And meanwhile, if they simply just want to talk to the guy, if they simply were very direct, saying, I know you're really busy all the time, but I'm feeling neglected, is there a way we can squeeze some time to go out to eat or do something together? But they don't. It's usually hints, and they're hoping the guy is a mind reader. It doesn't work that way. And any ladies that are watching this video, because I got female subscribers, pay attention. Be direct with your guy. It'll save you a whole lot of problems. I had to get that off my chest. It goes on. I only cheated on him that one time and immediately told him the next day because I couldn't bottle up my guilt and shame. He was shocked at first, but then went on to call me some most horrid names. I deserved it. I deserved a lot more than that. I don't even know how it got to the point of me sleeping with my coworker. It started with innocent flirting, and before I knew it, I made the worst mistake of my life by sleeping with him. I wish I'd gotten hit by a car that day before sleeping with him. I cut off all contact with my coworker and gave up my phone to my husband. I wanted to reassure him that I was willing to make this work on his terms, whatever they were, as long as he would give me another chance. Even though in my heart I knew that I wanted another chance to prove myself, I told him that I would understand if he went through with a divorce. That's the only thing she can do at that point. The only thing. She screwed up, she came clean about it, and basically, hey, if you want a divorce, I'm going to respect that. That's the only thing she can do, and she needs to stick to that word. Anyways, I told my husband that I would do anything to regain his trust and express my sorrow and regret for having hurt him so much. My husband has always been the type of guy to give a person only one chance, even in his friendships. If that trust had been broken, he wouldn't give the other person another chance. He said that he wanted a divorce, but then the whole quarantine thing happened, and he stayed in the house for about 2 months and didn't proceed with the divorce. That happened a lot. A lot of people were going to get divorced, but they obviously couldn't because of the early months of COVID, so they pretty much were staying in the house and being miserable with their spouse. For the first month, he treated me very coldly, and the only time we talked was when I had to do with our daughters. I slept on the couch and tried to give him as much space as he needed, and only reminded him from time to time that if he ever wanted to work things out, I'd be more than willing to do and would be completely devoted to the process of him working things out. He even said some spiteful things during that month and distanced himself from me completely. You can't blame the guy. You can't blame the guy for saying spiteful things. You can't blame him for being cold to you. Seriously, I mean, you cheated on him. And you've been together 14 years, and the dumbest reason for it is this guy's busting his tail at work, trying to help provide nice life for his wife, his kids, all that. And he's the villain for neglecting her? Come on here. Goes on. During the second month, there was a change as he began talking to me again. We talked about daily stuff and even watched movies together with the girls as a family. I felt like he wanted to try reconciling, and I was so happy. I was thrilled that there might be a second chance to save my family, to save us. Eventually, through the next couple of days, I could sense us becoming friends all over again. He even invited me to sleep on the bed once again. I was really working out, and I reminded him that he could talk about anything that he wanted with me. Oh, notice that she's back to working out. It's interesting where a lot of times in these marriages, the wife stops working out, and also the guys do it too. But then when one is trying to fix things with the other because they screwed up, cheated or whatever, all of a sudden they're back in the gym and they're hitting the weights and trying to lose weight and look better. Why couldn't she have done this all along? That's something I'd like to know. But now she's working out, trying to do whatever she can to get back in his good graces. Even means, losing weight and making her body better, because women know guys are visual creatures. Find that interesting. A couple weeks passed by, and we were getting along even better. We were spending time as a family again and got closer with each other as well. I felt really good about the way things were going, but I wish I suggested marriage counseling. I just didn't want to pressure him and have him think that I wanted to sweep the situation under the rug, or that I was trying to influence him to not divorce me. Well, that's what she was trying to do. Obviously, in subtle ways to make sure that he didn't divorce her. Let's be honest here. One night, we were drinking a bit, just talking in our bedroom, and I felt a genuine connection rebuilding. It was like we were falling for each other all over again, and it made me so happy. This is the part I regret now. I decided to make a move on him and straddled him while we were laughing at a joke. We looked at each other in the eyes so naturally, I began making out with him. It honestly felt like we were 20 all over again. He kissed me back as well, but after a while, he just started crying. He told me to stop and said that he couldn't. I felt so awful because I felt like he wanted to, but didn't at the same time. It broke my heart to directly see just how badly my stupid decision had hurt him. I told him that I was sorry, and we went to sleep. The reason I say I regret doing this is because I felt like this moment pushed him away forever. 2 days later, he informed me that he wanted to go through with the divorce. He said that he just doesn't think he can make it work even after trying for the last 2 months. I wanted to fight with him about it, but I just told him I understood. Well, clearly he was trying. Okay, I mean, obviously they were stuck in the house because of COVID. Obviously the early months of COVID, we're talking March, April, May. Most states, people weren't going anywhere, so they were kind of stuck at home, working at home and all that. And obviously he was trying probably more for his kids to see if he can, get over it and make it work. Who the hell knows, His initial reaction was a divorce, but then they were stuck at home. But obviously the guy tried because they were obviously hanging out and trying to make the best of it. But just once she obviously started kissing him, he was probably imagining her with some other dude or something even worse. I don't even need to mention. And that was it. So he tried. And the best thing she can do is just let him go. That's the best thing that you can do for a guy. She continues, We had already decided before that if a divorce was to happen, it would be on fair terms. Yeah, we'll see. Sure, we both have lawyers, but we agreed on a lot of stuff together. He wanted to take a 2-week trip, but would come back to pick up the girls after his trip. We both mutually agreed that we'd split the time with the girls after his trip. They would spend half of the week with him and the other half with me. I even helped him pack up his stuff, and when we finished, I just bawled my eyes out and we hugged it out. After his 2-week trip, he came back and it felt good seeing him again, but I knew it wasn't the same. He just smiled and we made small talk before he took the girls. We're both really good parents and want the best for our kids. Today I got served divorce papers. It hurt so much to know that I lost my best friend because I was stupid. Sometimes I roll over to his side of the bed in the morning and I hate how I don't feel his arms there anymore. I miss his smell, his smile, his voice. I miss him filling up the entire room with his loud, adorable laugh. I miss him so much. The thing that hurts me the most in all of this is knowing how badly I hurt the person I love the most. I wish I could go back in time and undo what I did, but I can't. So now here I am writing about it on Reddit while crying when there's nothing that I can do about it. I wish I could let him see for himself what I genuinely feel in my heart about how sorry I am and about how I would be the most devoted wife ever if he just gave me another chance. To let him know just how much I love him and that I'd literally do anything for him. I effed up the most perfect thing that ever happened to me. I wish I could get him back, but I know that I lost him forever. So, a lot of people, when they screw up like this, they constantly go with the I wish I did this, I wish I did that, go back in time. When you're emotional, obviously you're going to say that, but at the end of the day, she can't change the past. What's done is done. That's that. She was lucky. She got kind of a second chance with them being at home for 2 months, but obviously that didn't work, and he just can't get over it. And I think in a situation like this guy, it doesn't sound like he's nasty and spiteful or anything. I mean, at first he was, but just simply, what's done is done. He's not going to get over it, and he probably also realizes, let's be honest here, the old saying, once a cheater, always a cheater. And just in some cases, even let's just say hypothetically, that she'd screw up this one time and probably would never do it again, he's not going to let it go. He's not going to be able to, he'll be able to forgive her and move on, but he's not going to be able to forget. And that can be so damaging to some people, that's that. But on the other hand, given the stories that I do, guys, and plenty of you guys have heard them in the videos, usually once this happens the first time, once the woman or guy, because it goes both ways, is forgiven, there's a second chance. Later on time, when things aren't going well, when she or he is feeling neglected or there's stress and problems in the marriage, guess what happens? Same thing. So you can't blame the dude for just saying, no, we tried, I'm moving on, seriously. And the best thing that she can do is simply just move on herself and start over and learn a very hard lesson that the next time she's got a great guy, don't screw it up. And so if he is, she's feeling neglected, like he's busy at work, and let's think about it. Let's try to take emotion out of the picture for a second, look at it logically. He's obviously busting his tail at work to help the family, not because he wants to get away from you. Okay, so women need to look at these things logically for once. I know women are emotional creatures, and emotion pretty much drives their thoughts and actions. But you got to look at this thing logically. The guy's doing it for you, for his family. So women got to actually communicate with the guy. And when I say communicate, I don't mean dropping hints and hoping he figures it out or speaking in innuendos or whatever the hell they want to do. I'm talking about very directly saying, I know you're working a lot lately and I really appreciate what you're doing for us and the family, but I'm feeling pretty lonely these days. I'd love to be able to spend some time together, pick a night, even for an hour, whatever. Something like that. But don't just go getting angry because he can't figure it out, can't figure out your hints or things like that, and go step out and cheat. Unless, of course, the situation is that she wants to cheat. She wants drama and thinks that hopefully, it'll work out because she's bored and wants some drama. But who the hell knows? Every case is different, but interesting, there are a lot of similarities and patterns with these stories that I go over with. So the best thing she can do is let this guy go, and hopefully this guy, he gets his life together. And, obviously the divorce is amicable and civil. And this guy obviously will learn his lesson. Don't get hitched again, and because it sounds like this dude's probably the type of guy who wants relationships. Don't get hitched again. lesson learned there. But again, guys, as I said in the beginning of the video, don't get married super young. It's a huge mistake. I tell you guys, don't get married in general, but if you're going to do it, depending on yourself or your culture or whatever, wait till you're older, get some life experience, really learn about human nature, female nature, focus on your purpose, your goals. Because guess what? If you focus on relationships instead of your goals and your purpose, you're not going to get to the place that you want to be and that you could be. And of course, you're working, saving money, growing that money, and then later on, if you're going to do it, wait till you're like 30 years old. Seriously. And by then, you may realize, maybe I don't want to do this. You've learned a lot by then. So who knows? So all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.